Sometimes I question and wonder why I'm single and have not met anyone yet.
I've given up on the dating apps, you guys. I just can't be bothered.
So I no longer have the desire to be the strong one anymore. At 36 years old, I'm understanding that being strong is not a flex, and I am tired.
I was rejected by a guy in the...
Women today are trying to leave the boss babe life behind to find a man to save them.
I don't want to be independent no more. I want my man home with me.
I'm a strong, independent woman until I get a flat tire.
I got a serious question. What the hell happened to the real men? The ones that used to give you flowers on the first date?
There's literally a culture of women screaming.
The strong, independent women lifestyle is dying out. Many are looking to settle down. Kindly subscribe to the channel as it further supports us in our work. Thank you.
Any woman who wants to be an independent.
So I always try to teach my daughters that we're strong, independent women. We don't need a man. But my God, I need a man.
I am so tired of being so strong and hyper independent.
I have this issue where I find almost no men attractive.
Women do not care about your feelings. Women
Remove sex from a relationship and 90% of women have nothing to offer. Remove money and 90%.
I agree.
Can we talk about how much of a disadvantage that independent women are at? Because it's seen as an unattractive trait, but a lot of times we are independent because we've had to be. And I know there's always people who are like, this is what modern day feminism has done to women. And in some cases, yes, but in most cases, it's because we've had to be and we don't want to be. I think I speak for most women when I say women want to be taken care of. A lot of us struggle to release control and allow somebody to take care of us because we don't have a safety net compared to girls who grew up being taken care of and are spoiled. That is the norm for them. So it is incredibly easy to release control because they've always released control. And in those cases especially, those women typically have a safety net. So even if things go haywire, there's no fear attached to it because there will always be a safety net.
To some men, a woman constantly claiming and shouting that she's independent can actually be an unattractive trait. It's not the independence itself that's the issue. It's the attitude that often comes with it. The way it's weaponized in conversations, used to push men away or justify being difficult, as if being independent means being combative or unapproachable. Even when these men are actually dating these so-called independent women, it becomes a real challenge, because many of them are operating in such a masculine energy that it feels like you're dating another man, not a woman. And I don't know why so many women always fall back on the same excuse. I'm independent because I had to be. That might be true for some. But guess what? That applies to men too. Most men are independent because they had to be. They weren't coddled. No one came to save them. They had to figure it out, suffer in silence, carry pressure, and keep going. But you don't hear them screaming, "I'm independent." Every chance they get, they just do what needs to be done.
Okay, so it's 5 a.m, right? And I'm driving to work and I'm just so disgusted. Like, women really had it easy hundreds of years ago to just... I love to cook. So all they had to do was just cook. And the men took care of them? You're telling me I'm waking up at 5 a.m. for a man not to take care of me? Like, what the fuck? I would have loved to live hundreds of years ago when all the women had to do was cook.
I am literally so tired of being an independent female. I know more about cars than females should know. I guess it's a blessing, but the fact that I have to fix them all the time by myself is getting really freaking old.
I don't think men like women anymore. I don't think that men desire us women anymore, us real women. I don't think that they value us like they used to. Men aren't really putting out effort. They're not putting out any type of effort like they used to. Taking a girl on a date becomes an issue. You know, spending money on a woman is an issue. You should have your own money as a woman. Going out to do something fun is an issue. Why don't you just come over to the house and we could do something in the house? I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm from New York, but I see women all over the globe complain about what's happening with men nowadays. Is it women that's not making themselves desirable anymore, because there are beautiful women out here, beautiful women, ambitious women, caring women, nurturing women who are outside looking for love.
It's unfortunate that good women have to suffer with that bad, because there's plenty of good men and good women that want relationships nowadays. Many men today don't desire women as much, because most women today come with a price. And unless that man is paying, there's no playing that's going to happen. Many women want men to pay for their time, energy, hell, even their existence. Some women don't want to build with a man anymore. They want to bill him, from dinner dates to vacations to even just texting back. Everything feels like it has a fee. They expect men to pay for their time, their energy, and in some cases, just for existing in their life. It's no longer about connection, it's about compensation. It's a lose-lose situation, and until both sides start valuing what truly matters in a relationship, respect, effort, and authenticity, this divide will only keep growing.
Social media has 30 and 40-year-old dudes saying they're single because they haven't met the right person yet. Oh, you're gonna meet them soon. And their name is Jesus.
Why is it that a woman can only have one kid per 9 months and it's regulated her, but a man can have, he can impregnate 12 women a day if he wanted? Why are we regulated but men not? Make that make sense, because it's the patriarchy.
Are you stupid?
Moving into 2024, I no longer want or have the desire to be this strong, independent person. I'm looking for somebody. Make me your dependent. Because I'm done. I am. I just want a nice apartment. I'll cook. I'll clean. I'll do whatever you want. Give me a nice apartment and take care of me, and I'll be happy. That's all I want.
This is how every strong, independent woman sounds like when they finish trying to be strong and realize how hard it is. All of a sudden, they recall and understand traditional roles. Many women do this. At first, they try to prove they can be strong and compete with men. Then, later on, they change their minds. I mean, look at this woman. Now, she wants to be taken care of. She wants to be a dependent. She's finally ready to be in a traditional relationship. But why now? Where was this mindset when she was younger, full of options, and had good men trying to build with her? Back then, it was all about, I don't need a man, chasing careers, partying, and living her best life. Now the same roles she once rejected suddenly look like a blessing. The independence that once made her feel empowered has become a lonely grind. She's tired, she's overwhelmed, and now she wants to trade in that boss babe lifestyle for a man who's willing to provide, protect, and lead. Modern women are looking for help, not love.
Question. Why do some women feel the need to show so much skin on TikTok?
17 and a half years married, 4 kids. I begged this man, please, Ken, I've never been out of the U.S. Can we please go out of the U.S.? No. I get a text from him 5 minutes ago. What does it say? Hey, I need your permission. It's in the planning, but me and Eric, his fiance, are taking her kids and he wants to take Kylie to Mexico. 17 and a half years. And now you're giving this woman everything that I begged you for.
I just want a part-time boyfriend. Only Sunday nights, Wednesdays, Fridays after I get home from the bar, the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Easter, Valentine's Day. Not Halloween, not 4th of July. And then, if I go to a concert or have to go grocery shopping or, the obvious things.
A lot of men are intimidated by strong women, so they get in relationships with these women because they like them and they're strong, right? But strong women, we be getting noticed everywhere. We don't shut the fuck up. We speak up if we don't like something. We know what we want, and they don't like that. They get intimidated by that. So they slowly start to try to dim your light and make you feel insecure, but they're the insecure ones. So we have to watch out for those type of men. Don't shut up. He's going to try to tell you that you're nagging, but you're not. He's going to try to bring you down. He's going to try to slowly do things to make you feel like you're being annoying. If he can't handle you, then he's not for you, sis. He needs to find himself somebody that's weak, because that's what he wants.
Nonsense. Men aren't intimidated by strong women. That's just a tired excuse. The truth is, a lot of these women's definition of strong is tied to how difficult they are to deal with. They equate being combative, loud, disrespectful, and emotionally volatile with being empowered. But there's nothing strong about being unpleasant. Men don't have an issue with a woman expressing her needs or speaking up when something bothers her. That's called communication, and mature men welcome it. The issue is when that communication turns into constant arguments, criticism, or a my way or the highway attitude. That's not strength. That's ego and immaturity. Then you hear lines like, if he can't handle me, he's not the one. And that's exactly the problem. Why would a man want to handle his woman like she's a burden or a job? You can already tell this woman is an issue just by the way she's speaking. Loud, aggressive, and combative. There's no softness, no respect, no feminine energy, just attitude. And then they wonder why men aren't lining up to be with them.
I played this guy by fucking him and ghosting him. And then all my friends fucked him and ghosted him. He really thought he had a chance with us. We're way out of his league. It's so funny.
Are you stupid?
Do the men that tell women to choose better?
What, are they about to receive thanks for telling some women what they really need to hear?
I want to point something out.
It doesn't sound like it's going to be a thank you message, does it?
Those men, the men that say she should have chose better, are typically the same men that women left.
Really? It's sadly predictable, actually, how there are those that will just try to insult others when they say something that might actually indicate that some of the responsibility might fall on them, that they might have to take some personal accountability for the choices that they make in men, for how their relationships did not turn out so well. Shocking, I know.
And if you don't understand what that means, it means you're the guy she left to choose better.
I do understand that it's not that easy to accept criticism, or possibly have to accept that a person might have to take some personal accountability for their own actions in regards to the people they choose to end up in relationships with. And although it does take two for a relationship to often fail, each person does need to take accountability of their own part in it.
Actually, no ma'am. Those men are telling women they should have chosen better because there are way too many single mothers out there, and those women chose these men based on superficial traits, and that's why many of them end up hurt, abandoned, or struggling alone. They went after the guys with the flash, the ones with the looks, the charm, the street cred, the temporary thrill. They prioritized excitement over stability, lust over loyalty, and vibes over values. They ignored the quiet, respectful men who were building for the future, and instead chased the fantasy of the bad boy or the emotionally unavailable man, thinking they could change him. The sad part is, it's not that these women are incapable of choosing better. They just didn't want to when they had the chance. And now that they're older, tired, and sometimes carrying emotional and physical baggage, they expect those same good men they overlooked to come rescue them.
I mean this from the bottom of my heart right now. If you don't like your job right now, do not leave. It is ghetto out here applying for jobs. It is ghetto. Cry in your cafeteria, go into the stall, and blow that motherfucker up as revenge. If you work from home, go into your pantry and eat all your snacks for comfort. I don't care. Just do not leave your job right now.
Why low quality 40 years old men tend to go for younger women? And it's not because the 40 years olds are really old and we look so horrible and we have lots of baggage. That's not true anymore. There is tons of 40 years olds that look really good nowadays because it's easy to look good nowadays. There is tons of 40 years old that have good jobs, they have their goals and dreams and zero baggage whatsoever. However, you cannot play and manipulate a 40 years old the way you can a 20 years old, because the 40 years old has life experience. She can see through your BS, she can see through your red flags. Therefore, it's so much easier to get a 20 years old. And simply, these guys have no choice anymore because you're not not good for a 40 years old woman.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but you need to stop being scared to get married. And you also need to stop thinking about the end in mind when you are getting married. So many friends that I have, and even myself, have had commitment issues, and we talk about potentially getting a prenup with our partners or being scared if what happens if you divorce that person. And that's what the devil wants. The devil doesn't want you to get blessed and get married. In the Bible, it says when a man finds a wife, he will receive favor from the Lord. The devil doesn't want you to receive favor. So he will put all these headlines of divorce and how the statistics are so high to scare you so that you don't get married. But he's not showing you the happy marriages, the loving marriages. You rarely ever see that online, but they do exist. Just because you have never witnessed a healthy relationship growing up doesn't mean that you don't deserve to have one. And it doesn't mean that you can't have one and you can't work to have a phenomenal marriage. Anything in life worth having will require work, sacrifice, and for you to put effort into it. If you want to have an amazing relationship, an amazing marriage one day, then you can have it, but you will have to work at it.
I don't doubt that you can have an amazing marriage. Truly, there are couples out there who make it work, who build something beautiful, loyal, and lasting. But for men, especially in today's world and with the number of divorces they're seeing all around them, they have no choice but to be wary of marriage, and in many cases, steer clear of it altogether. It's not just about fear, it's about self-preservation. The stats are alarming. Most divorces are initiated by women, and in a lot of cases, men are left emotionally, financially, and mentally destroyed. It's not that men are anti-love or anti-family. Many want those things, but the system doesn't protect them. So they're cautious. They're calculating the risk-to-reward ratio, and from where they're standing, the risks are massive. One wrong move, one impulsive partner, and their entire life can be turned upside down. So when a man says he doesn't want to get married, it's not always because he doesn't value connection. It's always easy to say, don't be afraid, when you're not the one facing the risk.
So I have a question for men that are using online dating apps. Like, if you like somebody and they match with you, do you talk to them? Because I have like 10, 15 dudes just hanging out that I've matched with, but they haven't said anything to me. Like, I don't get it. If I matched with someone that I liked first, it's so I can talk to them, and it's exciting, and I message them. But men don't seem to do that. So what's the deal? Like, why?
It's honestly because men get tired of carrying the conversation. That man probably wrote several other women questions and gave them compliments, and all he received in response was one word. Men are trying. It's just that 95% of women that they match with, they either unmatch or they never respond, or they just give the one-worded answers. Or they're scammers. So yeah, men are just tired, ladies. They're tired of it.
20% of the guys on Tinder get 80% of the swipes. Women are competing for a small percentage of these guys. Now, when 20% of the men have 80% of the interest, you can virtually guarantee they're not forming long-term relationships, because men tend to be much more interested in short-term relationships. And with 1 million offers on the table, why not keep taking offers for a very long time? What that means is that 80% of men basically largely get ignored on the app, and 20% are fawned upon. In contrast, women, about 80% of them are getting swiped by people on a regular basis. They're just not getting swiped by the guys that they're interested in. And so if you think about, I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Gini coefficient, but it's this measure of inequality, and we use it with wealth in a country. And so a country like South Africa has a Gini coefficient whereby there's a lot of inequality. There's some very, very rich South Africans and a lot of very poor ones. And a country like Denmark has a Gini coefficient that's all about equality. You know, basically everybody's almost the same amount of money there. If you're a woman, you live in Denmark. There's always men who are interested in you. If you're a guy, you live in South Africa. There's a couple of haves and a ton of have-nots. It's set up so that both sexes want the same thing. You know, men look for the same thing in women, and women look for the same thing in men. And there's just a lot more competition among the men to get women. And so it's a smaller subset of men who women are interested in.
I mean, think about it. Why would these players ever settle down with these women when these very women are the ones rewarding their behavior? It's simple. There's no incentive to change when you're already getting everything you want without commitment, effort, or emotional investment. These guys know the game, and they know they're winning. They see the stats. On Tinder alone, 80% of women are chasing after the top 10 to 20% of men. These women compete for the same high-value guys, thinking they can be the one to tame him, to change him, to lock him down. But to him, she's just another name in the rotation. Why commit to one woman when you have an endless buffet of attention, validation, and intimacy at your fingertips? These women keep complaining that men are trash, but take a good look at who they keep chasing. It's always the emotionally unavailable guy, the player, the one with the red flags waving in 4K. And somehow, they still run full speed toward him.
One prepares you for is how much crying you're gonna do when you're finally in a healthy relationship. I was single for like 10 years of my life, and I was dating around, and like I had situationships, I fell in love, got my heart broken, whatever. But I never had anyone consistent for longer than a couple months. So now I'm in a healthy relationship, and I am having a hard time. Like the actual panic and trust issues that are coming up for me of having to allow someone to be in my life and to trust them with my feelings, my emotions, my traumas, all of it is difficult. And so much advice online is saying like, oh, the beginning of a relationship should be really easy. It should be smooth sailing. You shouldn't be having problems. It should be honeymoon phase, etc. But if you're someone that has trauma, PTSD, a history of toxic relationships, a healthy relationship is going to be very difficult for you. But the difference between that and the pain of a toxic relationship is that you are actually healing. Like that intensity and emotion that you're feeling is you learning to open up again and open your heart and trust someone again. And that is a practice. Like it will not happen overnight. So if you're experiencing kind of the intensity of like letting someone in for the first time in a long time, you are not alone. This is a normal experience and it won't last forever. I hope.
You know what's something that I realized? A man with money never questions what you do, how much money you make, etc. It's always the broke man that wants an independent woman, a woman that is making well for herself, a woman that is doing well for herself, etc. They always ask how much money you make, how long have you been in your career, etc. A man with money does not care about what you do, how much money you make, how much income you bring to the table. They don't care. In fact, they prefer the girl who is a server. They prefer the girl who is a cashier. They don't go after independent career women. Millionaires, it happens all the time. A millionaire will marry a cashier from McDonald's. A millionaire will marry a girl who wasn't working, who made no money. A man with money doesn't care about what you have. It's only broke men that want independent women so that they can take their resources from them. So ladies, be careful.
Of course, who knew the shaming wasn't coming? I don't think any man truly cares about a woman's money, but some men do want to make sure the woman they're dealing with is self-sufficient. After all, he's not looking for a dependent, independent woman who claims she's strong, but secretly needs saving. That's not strength. That's a contradiction. If a woman is claiming to be strong and independent, then why does she need a man to rely on financially or emotionally, like a crutch? Independence isn't about just saying it. It's about showing it. And if she's really standing on her own, then she shouldn't be looking for a man to come in and carry the full weight of her life. Why wouldn't a man want a woman who's doing well for herself? That doesn't mean she has to be rich. It just means she has her priorities straight. She's responsible, and she's not expecting a man to come fix her mess. He's not looking for someone to babysit. He's looking for a partner, not a project.
You know how some of y'all females be like, I'm independent. I don't need a man for nothing. I can do this without a man. I can do that without a man. I can hold my own down without a man. That might be true. I can hold my own down without a man too, because my man ain't here. But when it comes to holding that gas pump, I don't want to hold that no more. I don't want to be independent no more. I want my man home with me. When it's time to take my boys to get their haircut, I want him to do that shit. When it's time to do an oil change, I want him to take my car to get the oil change. When it's time to put gas in my car and fill it up, I want him to do that. And that the hardest day of work for him working hard all day, I want to cater to my man. I need my man. I'm not a city girl. No, I'm not no city girl, baby. I'm a catering girl. I love catering to my man. I love doing nice stuff for him. It's good to be independent and not want the man for certain things. But, baby, I need my man for everything. So I can't wait for him to come home, baby. Y'all keep that city girl attitude. I want my man.
I've decided that I no longer want to be a strong, independent woman. I have strong, independent woman myself to death. I feel like we all do it. There's this Bible verse that says something like, you can do all things, but not all things are going to be beneficial to you. I think we've just gotten into this like place where it's like you are taking on roles that you were never designed to do. And just because you can do anything, and as a woman, like you are able to do pretty much anything, it doesn't mean that you have to. And it is okay to accept help. The other day was at work and this man wanted to put a trash bag in the trash can for me. And I was like, no, it's okay. I can do it. Why would you want to? If a person is asking you to help and put a trash bag in the trash can, like, let him. Obviously, he knows you're able to do it, but why would you not accept help if someone is offering it to you? But I've just conditioned myself to need to do everything on my own because I always have. Accepting help is not a form of weakness. I've really had to like nail that into my tough skull because I've always been that way, but I don't want to be that way anymore because it's like a heavy thing on me, on my heart, on my mind, on my spirit, on my physical body. Like, you don't have to do everything on your own. God created women to be nurturers, but the last thing women nurture are themselves. So I say in this next season, we just live very gentle, peaceful lives. Be easy on yourself, be easy on your expectations for yourself, because just because you can do anything, you don't have to.
A lot of these women wouldn't have been strong and independent if they didn't reject the natural order of life. Many of them turned away from traditional values, not because it didn't work, but because they felt like they had to prove something to the world, that they didn't need a man, didn't need a family, didn't need anyone but themselves. It became less about choice and more about rebellion. They bought into the idea that dependence, even interdependence, was weakness. So they chased careers, independence, and a boss lifestyle, not because it fulfilled them, but because they thought it would give them validation, respect, and power. Only for many of them to realize years later that it didn't bring them peace, it didn't bring them joy. It just made them tired, lonely, and questioning everything they once believed in. Now they're looking back, realizing that maybe being soft, supported, and loved wasn't weakness, it was balance.
I got a serious question. What the hell happened to the real men? The ones that used to give you flowers on the first date from back in my day, in the 50s. Where the real men at? Now they just wearing pocketbooks, got their nails painted like mine. Bring back the real men. Bring them back. Because I'm sick of all these sissies.
Men, you have to be clear on what you're looking for. If you say, I want an independent, strong, beautiful woman, that's the type of woman that's going to take care of herself. She's going to have a career. She can take care of her home. She can take care of her kids. So if you're not coming in with that same energy, if you can't do all of those things, you cannot be asking for a strong, independent woman. What you're looking for is a mom. Keep that in mind. If you're looking for a strong, independent woman, you got to be a strong, independent man. And that means that you're going to be home and you're going to take care of things when they break, and you're going to help pay bills, and you're going to do your part at home and be present. Just a piece of advice.
There's literally a culture of women screaming they don't need no man, and then they're like, why am I single? Probably because you say you hate men and you don't need them.
It's sad. It's all part of the agenda to keep us separate, break up the family unit, keep us divided, poor, weak, alone, sad, high, drunk. And then we'll never be able to keep the government in its place. The only thing stronger than government is the family unit, and if that's been broken up, then we can fully be taken advantage of with fear, division tactics, left versus right, food supply, poison in our water. The list goes on and on, people. Get married, have children, drink fluoride-free water, don't eat seed oils, get some sunshine.
Exactly. It's funny how the same women who loudly claim they don't need a man are the ones asking, why am I still single? That's a contradiction if I've ever seen one. You can't spend years screaming about how men are useless, how you don't need them, how you're better off alone, and then wonder why no one's trying to commit to you. You pushed men away with the very attitude you thought made you strong. Independence isn't the problem. It's the arrogance that came with it. Acting like men are beneath you, then expecting one to come along and worship the ground you walk on. That's not empowerment. That's entitlement. You can't talk down on men and then expect one to lift you up. At some point, the energy you put out is going to circle back. And for a lot of these women, that circle looks a lot like an empty apartment and a glass of wine on Friday nights, wondering what happened.
The man of your dreams could be a short king. So you're going to stop the love of your life just because he's not your usual height? I mean, as long as someone's taller than me, that's the main thing. Because I'm 5'3", so how can you be shorter than me?
Can we let the strong independent narrative die with our generation, please? I feel like it does more harm than good. And I'm speaking from personal experience here. I feel like the idea of being a strong, independent woman, like when it came out, maybe it was fun and like, yeah, I've got my own thing going on, whatever. I feel like that whole strong, independent woman, it puts too much pressure on us as women to actually be strong all the time. I'm speaking from my own experience. I don't know if you guys agree or not, but that whole being strong 24/7, it's not realistic. Sometimes I want to cry, and I think it's okay to cry. Like, I don't have to have it together 24/7, you know? Sometimes I'm not strong, and that's okay. Like, I am strong at times, yes, but other times I need to be vulnerable. Other times I need to just be free to express how I'm feeling. And then let's talk about the independent element of it. Whether you've got a man or not, I'm sorry, but nobody functions effectively when they're independent. I said what I said. You can be a boss babe, you can have your own stuff, you can have your own money, but you are not going to be able to achieve that by yourself. So independence is a lie. I'm sorry, there are some people that we need to depend on. There are people, if you've got a business, do you not have employees? Do you have an accountant? Because I'm sure you're not running that business solely by yourself. There are other people involved in some way, shape or form. Okay, if you don't have anyone else running your business with you, what about your customers, your clients? You depend on them to purchase from you, don't you? Yeah. So I just feel like we need to kill the narrative of being a strong, independent woman, because you can't be strong, independent women all the time. You can't be that. I'm done with that narrative. I'm not a strong, independent woman, and I'm finally come to accept that, and I'm okay with it.
This whole independent woman thing really does put a lot of pressure on women to constantly be strong, self-sufficient, emotionally bulletproof, and never need anyone. And truth be told, that's why so many of them have done a complete 180. Now they're openly asking for men, wanting to be provided for, wanting traditional relationships, the very thing they used to roll their eyes at. But let's be honest, it comes off as disingenuous, because all it really proves is that the independence wasn't about true empowerment. It was about image, ego, and trying to prove a point. It wasn't rooted in genuine desire. It was a reaction to cultural trends, peer pressure, or a false belief that needing a man was weakness. I get that many women are coming to their senses, or that time is punishing them. But let's be real, them turning around isn't because they suddenly had an epiphany about the value of men or traditional relationships. It's not about genuine change, it's about circumstance.
Men, here is why she's not choosing you. If you think women only want rich, good-looking guys, I get it. Rejection really stings, and society definitely pushes that narrative. But here's the truth. Women are drawn to confidence, purpose, emotional intelligence, not just money or look. So men, we need to stop chasing that approval. Start becoming the best version of you. Build real self-worth, not just external validation. Work on your mindset, your presence, how you carry yourself. You do not attract what you chase. You attract what you embody. The right woman will see your value, not just what's in your wallet.
I do get where she's coming from. Then again, reality speaks for itself. The majority of women do want rich, good-looking guys. If that wasn't the case, average men wouldn't be constantly overlooked or dismissed. Men who are loyal, consistent, emotionally available and hardworking would actually have a shot. But they don't, because for a lot of women, if he's not tall, rich, and physically flawless, he's invisible. Also, let's be real, 80% of women on dating apps are chasing the top 10 to 20% of men. Usually the 6 feet 5 inches, gym-built, model-looking, high-earning chads. If women were truly open to genuine connection and character, other men would have had a chance. But they don't. It's a digital race to the top, and everyone else is left unseen, unmatched, and unheard. And yet, when it all goes south, the same women cry, "Where are all the good men?" This is why so many men have checked out. They're not bitter, they're just tired of competing in a rigged game where effort, loyalty, and respect aren't even part of the criteria anymore.